Hey Floss Tube, this is Brian. Welcome back. I've been working on, for the past week, I've been working on The Spirit of Christmas by Lavender and Lace. And I thought I'd give you the opportunity to work with me on it tonight. Of course, this is a design by Lavender and Lace. And it has been kind of fun. So I've been it's kind of been celebrating Christmas. I've had my Christmas in April, I guess. And it's spilling over into May a little bit. So I'll give you a look. I'll kind of pan a little bit so that you can see kind of the entire piece, get a feel for what it looks like. And the more I stitch on this, the more I just really love it. So you'll see here, I've been working through here. I've gotten to the point now where this is Santa's hat. This is the fur trim on his hat, and this is his hair and his beard, and I think part of it is the trim on his coat as well. It's and then I've just been mostly stitching this sleeve right through here. It's been really been a treat to see that really take shape. Most of what I've done on the garland is right here. So I finished this part of the garland that comes up like this, and this is the part that comes up and it goes across the top. So I'm now on that, and I just doing that, and you can see also down here, this is the other side of his coat. This is the boundary. So I think I've kind of finished most of his right side, and I'm moving over to the left side now. Right now I'm kind of stuck in all of this white and yellow, so I don't know, it's not going to be too exciting for you to watch me right now because I'm stitching a lot of white, but it's just kind of the way things worked out. Yeah, I'm really enjoying him. The reds in this piece, I just love this shade of red. It's just a really dark, deep red, and I just really enjoy it. I have been amazed at all of this dimension here. That's with like 4 colors. There's a dark brown, and then 3 different shades of red. Yeah, and there's even a blend. There's a blend between the darkest red and the dark brown, and I really love that effect because you can it kind of makes it so that you can see the shadow blending into the red, and it's just really wonderful. I have been amazed at, as I've been stitching this and posting my results on Instagram, that almost every single night I get somebody who says, I love those reds. And I agree. This is one of the few pieces that I am working on right now that I just love. I could probably continue working on him right until he's finished and not get bored with him because I just really enjoy him. So I guess what we're going to work on tonight, what I'm going to work on with you tonight is I'm going to finish up this cuff right here. Well, not finish it up, but I'm going to get to this cuff, and I don't know, you may see me working on some of the red that comes up here on this side of the cuff. Getting really close to his hand. His hand's right here, so that'll be fun because that'll be a different color than white or even red. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Let's see. I usually thread and unthread my needle, but I've got 2 lengths of floss right now that are on the short side, and the shorter they get, the harder it gets for me to thread my needle. So I thought I'd just leave them on needles. That's something that when I'm parking, I generally don't do because it seems to make it easier for all the floss to get tangled, because the floss ends are like fixed, and so it's just harder to, seems like that the ends not being able to move around makes it so that they are more easily tangled, I guess. So but I'm gonna deal with that right now. I have had a lot of people also on Instagram. I seem to have had a lot of people lately who haven't ever seen me stitched or don't watch my videos. So this is another opportunity for you to see kind of the way I work. I've had lots of people say, I don't understand how you stitch diagonally, or how do you do that? How do you deal with all those threads flopping around all over the place? So I thought it'd be fun to share some time with you. It's been a while. The rest of the month I've been working on, well, a couple of other pieces that are more confetti heavy, and I thought maybe you wouldn't want to watch me to stitch those, because it would probably exhaust you to see how many times I thread and unthread needles when I work with a lot of confetti. So anyway, this piece, there's a little bit of confetti in the cuff. I mean, it's not as straightforward, but the reds, they're actually all in blocks, so they're really easy to stitch. So it doesn't look like it. My spreadsheet says that I am almost halfway finished, and I guess that's true, because I think I will hit, this design is actually pretty much square, and my diagonal is going to get the longest it'll ever get on the next round, so that means I'm halfway through. But I'm actually more than halfway, and that's because there's only about this much left of stitching to do. Then there's a lot of space, and then the garland that comes around. So I think once that I get through the rest of Santa, things are going to go really quite quickly. My spreadsheet says that if I continued stitching, I would be able to finish this by the end of the month. And I believe that. I probably could, except for I'm not going to have a lot of stitching time this month. So I'm going to have 10 or 11 days when I'm not going to be able to stitch, because I'm going on vacation, and there's just not going to be a lot of stitching time to do. So anyway, let me see here. It's kind of funny. So Gerald, in one of his last, Ginger Gerald Stitcher, I'm sure most of you who watch me watch him as well. In one of his update videos recently, he talked about mate. It's in a, I think it was in the tea that he got, and he said he didn't know what mate was, and I know what mate is, and that's because in Argentina there are a lot of people that drink mate in Argentina. So because of that, and because I actually have had a lot of Argentina on my mind recently because my daughter in her third year Spanish class they did reports on countries, and she finagled her way to do Argentina because she thought that because she knows me that would make it easier. So she's been asking me about like things to go see in Argentina and what some of the customs are and stuff. And one of the things that she had to do is she had to bring a food of some sort, and we made alfajores for her to take. She had her report today, and she said that everybody just loved the alfajores, and that would be one of the things that I really miss about Argentina is the alfajores. Just going to a little kiosco, which is a store. They have like stores on the hold on just a sec. Okay. I'm thinking I'm doing the wrong color. Okay. They have stores, just like little corner stores that people rent out of their houses. They call them kioscos, which that sounds a little bit familiar. I guess in English we call them kiosks. And just going to a kiosco and buying an alfajor. Anyway, if you don't know what an alfajor is, it's like 2 cookies, and they're not really cookies. They're really crumbly. They're almost more cake-like than cookie-like, and they're filled with. So you have 2 cookies filled with dulce de leche. So it's kind of a cookie sandwich with dulce de leche in the middle, and then dipped in chocolate. And there's some brands that are not so good, but there are some that are just like really decadent. And we went looking for a recipe online and found a recipe, and my wife we made alfajores for her. So that's what I did last night. One of the things I had to do last night was dip a bunch of cookies in chocolate. And it sounds like it was a big success. Anyway, back to mate. Mate is an herbal tea that they drink in Argentina. And I'm thinking that maybe in my next update video, which I'm planning on doing soon, I'll show you a little bit more about it. But it is a tea that is loose. Basically you put it in a cup that's called a mate, and you mix like sugar in with it, and then you pour hot water in, and then you have what's called a bombilla, which is like a straw that you use to suck the water out. Basically, and of course by then it's tea. It's really, when I first got there and was given some to taste, I really didn't like it that much, but the taste grew on me, and my family doesn't like it, and I don't force it on them so I don't get a lot of opportunities to drink it. Part of the reason why is there is a whole social custom around drinking mate. It's almost more of people socialize and they drink mate. So it's passed around the circle, and everybody, you talk and you drink. And so because of that, because of the social aspect of it, and because I don't have anybody who will necessarily drink with me, I haven't drunk it in a long time. But with my daughter doing a report, I got it out and actually made it a couple of nights. And it brought back lots of memories and tasted really good. Another reason not to drink it is it's lots of sugar. I mean, if you sweeten it, you're basically drinking sugar water, right? So, and I really don't need to be drinking sugar water. So, anyway. So that's what mate is, Gerald, and I guess I'll show you a little bit more about it in my next update. So things are going pretty good here. How are things going with you guys? I forgot to welcome you, so welcome. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. As always, feel free to like my videos or subscribe to my channel so you can see more of my videos. I always enjoy hearing from you. So anyway, my wife actually is out of town. She went up to pick up my son. He's just barely finished school, and she will be coming back next week. I am here with two of my kids, kind of babysitting, but they don't need a lot of babysitting anymore because they're older and can take care of themselves. So yeah, and let's see, there's another strand of white to work with. Another thing that I've been doing is, I haven't really talked about it, but I like to read. And I thought I'd share a book with you that I've read, and it's one that I've read a couple of times. Well, I've read it once, and I also have it on Audible as well, so I've listened to it a couple times, that I really enjoy. And it's actually part of a series, and it's by a lady named Connie Willis. She writes, well, what she writes is science fiction, but she's kind of not really science fiction-y. So, I mean, if you think about science fiction as like Star Wars, that's not the kind of stuff she writes. So she has written a whole series about some students from Oxford that are in the near future who are, so they've figured out how to time travel. And the whole series is about different students who time travel. And they are all there. I really like all of those books. So the first book that she wrote is called The Doomsday Book. And that book is really good. I have only ever been able to read it once, though, because it is really quite the end is a very difficult read. It is basically about a student that she goes back to the Middle Ages and gets stuck in the Middle Ages, and it talks about her experiences, there. In England in the 1300s, I think. It is. I really like the way Connie Willis writes, and there's a scene in there that describes Christmas Eve Mass that is just really almost magical. And then, so that was the first book. The second book is called To Say Nothing of the Dog. And once again, it's another time travel story. And so, like I say, it's not, the only thing that's science fiction-y about it is that time travel exists, but you're not really reading a time travel story. You're reading a story that's set in a different time with people from the future. So the second, To Say Nothing the Dog, is set in Victorian England. And it is about a guy who basically goes back to Victorian England to fix something that went wrong. And I won't tell you that, what went wrong, because that's part of the fun. So he goes back to Victorian England to fix something that happened that wasn't supposed to happen. And it talks about all of his experiences in his experiences with a fellow time traveler. They're both in Victorian England, and they're trying to solve a mystery. Well, it's really kind of hard to explain, but they're trying to solve a mystery in Victorian England, and it is really quite funny. It's kind of written like a book that would have been written at that time. So every chapter has like a set of headings at the top that kind of explain what's going on in the chapter. Like if you've seen Tom Sawyer's that way, and so it's kind of written in the style of that time of Victorian England, and it is really fun. It's a really fun book. I've read it and listened to it a couple of times, and one of the reasons that I like it is that I like these books is they give me a couple of things to think about when I listen to them again that I didn't notice the first time. And then the third, it's actually the third and fourth books in the series. It's actually the same story told across two books, so it's like a more of a series. Those books are called Blackout and All Clear, and they are set in World War II. It's about some people that go back to study World War II, and they get stuck in World War II in England during the Blitz, and there's a lot of stuff that happens during the V1 attacks after the D-Day invasion, and they're a little bit more serious. I really like them because I think they are, well, I don't know for sure because I never lived then, but I would imagine that they're pretty accurate in it, describing what it felt like to live in London during World War II and having to deal with all of the bombings and rationing and everything else that the people had to deal with during World War II. And those books, they're a little bit more serious, but they are really, I find them really fascinating, and I really enjoy listening to them. That's what I just barely finished listening to them. I finished listening to them for the second time, and yeah, they're really good stories. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, check them out. Some of the other books that she's written, I think, are a little bit more on the strange side. I don't like her other stuff quite as much as I like her time travel stuff. She has a little quirk that can get annoying sometimes because her characters are always trying to solve a mystery of some sort. And they always tend to like go over and over possible solutions, trying to figure out what's going on in their brains. And she like catalogs that all the time. So it can get a little bit annoying. And some of her other books I've found to be that it gets on my nerves after a while. But these books, they don't bother me quite as much. Basically because the story is so good. So check them out. It's funny. I'm stitching in a place that is different from where I normally stitch, and the light's in a different location, and that makes a little bit different type of shadow on my fabric, and it just looks a little bit different from where I normally stitch. So I'm kind of struggling a little bit. Anyway, yeah. Wow, look at that. There's something that doesn't seem quite right here. Although that looks right. No, that doesn't look right. Yep. We have a mistake. So this stitch right here should be up here, and this one, and I know you're gonna say nobody's gonna know, but I'm feeling in a perfectionist mood right now. So I'm gonna pull this out. Hold on just a sec. I may pause this while I do this so you don't have to watch it. So if I pause it, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so let's fix this. This needs to go right here like this. Okay, there, now I feel like I'm back to normal. So the last time I did a Stitch With Me video, I got it all edited and I uploaded it to YouTube. And I like to, once I get my videos uploaded on YouTube, I like to watch them once more just to make sure that everything looks fine, make sure that I haven't made a mistake with my editing, and make sure that I haven't said something that I think I'll regret later. So I watch them once more just to make sure that everything's kosher. And the last Stitch With Me video, I'd finished editing and I'd loaded it up and I was watching it on my computer, and the video looked really grainy. The pictures just did not look very good. And I really kind of panicked a little bit because I was like, holy cow, what's happened? And I pulled up the video that I uploaded and everything looked fine, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I ended up trying to upload it a couple of times, and every time it would look really bad, like you couldn't hardly see me stitch. Everything was really grainy. And I was like, I about come to the conclusion that YouTube was like corrupting my videos, or making them so that they that there was something in their processing that was making them so that that was degrading the quality. And so I was like really kind of fretting as to what to do. And then I noticed, and what I noticed something, and what I noticed is that I had my player set to play at a lower quality. And that was the reason for that. So if you're watching this video and it looks really grainy, the problem is in the player. So in order to fix that, what you want to do is you want to change the quality of the player. And the way you do that is, let's see, if you're watching it on your computer, click on the gear icon in the lower right hand corner, and that will give you an option to set the quality that you're streaming at. And I stream at 1080p, so I should say I record my videos at 1080p, so you should be able to stream at 1080p. If you're watching it on your phone or your iPad, in the app, you can click on the two little dots up in the upper right-hand corner, that kind of look like a colon, as in the punctuation, and you can select the quality there. So I thought I'd just share that with you in case you've been watching videos and haven't been really impressed by the quality of the videos that you're seeing. Okay, so I think that I've been stitching for long enough. I've been stitching with you for a long enough time. So I'm going to say goodbye. I will probably leave this running. I've just about finished the block that I'm working on, and I think I will leave this running kind of at a faster speed so that you can see the next block. Just so you can see me stitch something other than white and yellow. Okay, so I finished another block, and I think this is where I'm going to leave it for now. As you can see, I put in more of this, so I stitched about like this. It's looking really cool. I'm just looking at this through the camera, and it's even more enhanced through the camera than it is when I look at it. How this trim looks three-dimensional. I really like that effect. That's really looking cool. So anyway, thank you for watching and sticking with me. I hope that you have a great month. Feel free to comment, like, or subscribe to this video. I look forward to hearing from you, and we will talk to you later. Have a great week. Goodbye.